Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are after market close on Tuesday, August 31st. I wanted to share my swing trade buys for the day. The first one is APOP. This follows the same sort of cadence that we saw in yesterday's video where I had some new types of positions, those being momentum stocks that I was willing to try to hold overnight to see if that would play any part in my swing trading world. And I have the first 2 or 3 tickers today fit that same criteria. I guess the first two. So APOP being the first one here. Now what you're looking at is the 5-day, 5-minute chart and the VWAP in green. So let me talk through why I took this position today. So you see the previous 3 days here, you see the volume not even providing a blip on the radar screen, barely from day to day today. And then yesterday you saw a big run up and the VWAP keeping pace with it and then holding steady throughout the midday when it had like a big quell in volume. So it holding that price strength on much lower volume and then picking back up toward the end of the day, even though it lost VWAP support here, very quickly regained it and then ran a bit into the after hours and then picking that up again today. Every time that it lost support in the VWAP, quickly regained it, so on and so forth, and then showing just a nice trend line here of just higher and higher and higher lows throughout the day, retesting it at the end of the day there, and we don't see a similar run up in the after hours yet like we saw yesterday. But to me, this looked like it could be gearing up for some sort of a move in the coming days with all of this pinning itself to the VWAP and holding very, very strong day after day after day with relatively higher volume than you see in days past. So interested to see how this plays out, given it's a new sort of strategy that I'm trying to infuse into the world of swing trades. Now, the other one is BCTX. Now, this one just keeps following the VWAP up and up and up and up day after day after day. And the reason that I thought that this one was interesting, though you see it dipped quite hard here toward the end of the day and then held the previous low. So this is part of what I look for in these types of plays, or at least the theory of what I'm looking for, is you see this level here. If you've seen my other videos where I'm very, very heavy into supply and demand zones, zones that have both acted as support and resistance in previous price action, you see that's right where it caught it today. So you follow this left and you see support, 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 and resistance that flip to support. So to me, this could be a nice catch zone. And because this has been building day over day over day, but seemingly no real news coming through, there's this investment conference coming. Order flows, seeing a lot of large inflows on a stock that has relatively low volume day to day. We pop this here. See 3 million today, average of 4.7 million, so nothing crazy, and like certainly respectable and certainly like in my realm of trading volume, but not, you know, in the dozens of millions per day. But anyway, we do see again today really, really strong volume coming in. So we see the volume building, we see it, the price action coming up day over day. We see it holding a really significant support level here toward the end of the day when it lost the VWAP support. So to me, this looked like there could be something coming up. Maybe there's something to this coming conference. I don't know that I would hold it that long, or that the catalyst is that far away. I don't know exactly what's happening, or if there's anything that's happening. Could be nothing. It could just be sheer circumstances and chance. But I thought it was worth trying to see if there's anything interesting to be had here in the coming days by taking a swing trade position on BCTX. Now we flip back to my more standard protocol. Get rid of the VWAP. We'll keep the volume. We'll keep the MACD, or we'll add in the MACD and the MAs. Now I'm going to pull in the daily chart here. Now NVTA, holy smokes, let me get rid of all this jazz. Okay, so NVTA coming in today, we have a nice recovery. See, bearish momentum picked up here, bullish crossover that couldn't hold, bearish crossover that couldn't hold. Now, the only thing I don't love here is this repeated downslope here, lower low, lower low, but the momentum died much faster. And so bullish crossover is pretty fresh. It's just now fighting with the 50 MA, so I thought it was, potentially a good time to see if I can ride the wave of it establishing over that 50 MA, and then that theoretically would drag the 20 MA up with it, and we could see a bullish crossover, the 20 MA crossing above the 50. So we'd have a bullish crossover here, we'd have volume holding pretty steady, and then we'd have a bullish crossover of the MAs as well as we head to a collision course with this 200 MA. Obviously, that's the bullish case. If we can't hold this 50 MA and or we fall below the 20 MA, then I would take that as my stop loss on this one. But it looked like potentially a good setup to me on the daily. And the last three tickers here, NIU, I'm jumping back into. I had this one already, and then took profits on it. But because it's still continuing to bat between the 20 and the 50, and the 20 and the 50 are starting to close real estate again, and this MACD is continuing to hold itself, nice distance from the signal line, and it's just now approaching the baseline. And volume's holding pretty steady, especially after today. I thought that it was worth giving this one another go. I don't know if we'll hit it 2 for 2 back to back, and I try not to fall in love with stocks and play them just for the sake of trying to piggyback. But this, to me, the setup just looked like it was there. And again, if it rejects off the 50 and really can't muster anything and continue sideways, then sort of make a decision at that point. Obviously, if it can't hold the 20 MA and it closes below there, then I would take that as my stop loss. Bullish case scenario is it establishes over the 50, very similar to what we were just looking at, drags the 20 into a bullish crossover over the 50, and then thrusts this MACD up pretty strongly after that. KMTUY, if you saw my video yesterday, you saw that I was keeping an eye on this for a bullish crossover. Now today we saw a big bump in volume, we saw bearish momentum continue to come down. It was up 1.24% today. Why this is a big red red candlestick on Webull, I'm not quite sure, because it was plus 1.24% today, as you see there. So whatever, just double check your charts with the software that you're using. If they have weird quirks that could otherwise throw you off, maybe it's a weird setting that I have, I don't know. But anyway, we see the MACD from way down here continuing to build and build and build. It's quashing this bearish momentum really quickly at the moment, looking like it wants to effectuate a bullish crossover. I don't know if it will, but maybe. And if so, the 20 and the 50 are really close together. And so to me, the opportunity here is we get a bullish crossover on the MACD. We very quickly get the price action establishing above the MA20 and the MA50 with not as much fight as we normally would have between the two, which then could drag the 20 MA into a bullish crossover above the 50, like we talked about with the other two stocks, the last two stocks. And then we'd have all sorts of bullish indicators moving in that direction. Now, that is under the umbrella of a 200 MA, which is still sitting all the way up here nearly at $28. And so keeping us in an overall bearish trend. But this could be indicators of a short-term reversal, or maybe being able to overtake that into a longer-term reversal. I thought it was worth the risk for the time being. And lastly, NIO, which I had also mentioned yesterday, was getting very close to looking like position worthy. Now, fully bearish trend, as you see here, and not that close to, well, I guess dollars-wise, okay, it's about $1 away from that 200 MA. So not that far, but a dollar move in a stock that's in the 30s is a pretty big percentage point. But we're just starting potentially a bullish crossover on the MACD. That said, it's not really jumping up super strongly, but it's not, I don't think, price action wise, I don't think it's as lackadaisical as this, which didn't really ever cross over very strongly, just kind of laid on top of the signal line and then fell back through. But we see a big, strong bullish candle today, up almost 4%. on the day with 44 million in volume, so peaking above the average volume for the time being. So to me, those were all really good signs, whereas the MACD did this lazy crossover before. It was just moving sideways here, right? And it wasn't having any super big green days. These are all 1 to 3.5% or so. But today, 4%, good volume, and we'll see if that can actually flow through into a big, strong bullish crossover. And we'll see how this fight with the 20 MA goes if it gets there. Now, if it rejects hard off of that and this sort of just ends up going sideways, or the bullish crossover doesn't happen and it does this sort of a thing, then turns bearish, then that would be my indication to set a stop loss. Otherwise, I would be looking for it to hold something like this, 37.76. If I wanted to keep it really tight, if I wanted to give it a little more room to breathe, something around here, not that much more room, I guess, 37.40, or even down here, we see the inverted hammer meets the wick of this candle at 36.60. So those are the levels that I'm looking at, depending on how much risk I want to take on with it, on how it reacts in the coming days. But the good thing of looking at the daily chart is things move a little bit slower. I let it breathe an entire day to see what it does. So, I'll have more of an idea tomorrow as it works through day one of being in my swing trade portfolio. All right, folks, I hope you had a great trading day and that your week is off to a good start, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.